presidential debate. A couple of days ago marked the second presidential debate of this election cycle, and needless to say, it was quite intriguing. So in this video, I'll go through the key moments of the debate, if there will be another one, and who officially won the debate. Hi, my name is Francis. Welcome to the Crude Truth, and without further ado, I present to you who won the debate. The debate started out with the two candidates shaking hands with each other, ending the 8-year streak of presidential candidates opting out of this form of respect. This debate also marks the first time the two have met each other. The first topic of the presidential debate was the economy and the cost of living. Despite the American economy experiencing exponential growth in the past 4 years, the price of essential goods and the cost of living has skyrocketed, making many Americans doubt whether Kamala Harris and her administration will be able to resolve the economic hardship Americans face. How the prices of essential goods and the cost of living under the Trump administration were somewhat bearable for the middle class. She responded by establishing her notion of an opportunity economy.
A vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living.
She underscored how, having grown up in a middle-class family, she's postulated a good portion of her campaign on creating opportunities for the middle class. She brought forth how she plans to extend a $6,000 tax credit to less fortunate families so they can afford the necessities needed to raise their children, and how she plans to introduce a $50,000 tax deduction to start-up businesses, expounding on how these innovative businessmen and women are the backbone of America. How their entrepreneurial fervor will play a crucial role in hoisting America's economy to new heights. She then goes on to mention how the only noticeable accomplishment Trump made towards the U.S. economy during his term was a tax cut for the rich millionaires and billionaires, and how the Trump sales tax will further economically strain citizens of the middle class. Trump refuted saying that he had, quote, no sales tax. He then went on to mention how he would impose tariffs on other countries, that the world would pay America back for all they've done for it for the past 75 years, which is a stance Trump has held for quite a while now.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do.
He then goes on to mention how the tariffs he imposed during his first term resulted in zero inflation. He also mentioned how under the Biden administration, prices of day-to-day goods have gone up by 50, 60, 70, and even 80%.
Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago.
He then goes on to mention how immigrants have taken the jobs of African Americans, Hispanics, and unions. Yeah, well, we're still in the economy here. But anyways, by the end of his refute, he goes on to mention how when he becomes president, he will make the economy great again. Kamala Harris then went on to name the several faults made by Trump, from substantially raising the unemployment rate to threatening the foundation of democracy. She then went on to say that the audience should expect quite the number of lies, which wasn't far off in all honesty. And I bet you can predict what Trump said next. Trump was asked if he regretted anything that happened on January 6th. Immediately he was asked that extremely enticing question. He started profoundly question dodging. Just take a look.
Thank you.
Linsey, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. It was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar.
She somehow managed to turn a conversation about him attempting to overrule democracy to Kamala Harris mismanaging the border. And you'll see a lot of this diversion during the debate. He'll somehow be able to turn a conversation about him into one about Kamala Harris and even Biden, who he's not even running against. But fortunately, Kamala Harris was able to hold him accountable for this.
Gentlemen, she says, she is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
Thank you. Your time is up.
I want to respond to that, though. I want to just respond briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump.
You see, this just makes me extremely worried. If Trump isn't willing to answer a question, a simple question at that, truthfully and straightforwardly, what's to stop people from thinking that he won't do it again? Lastly, I want to touch on an area of the debate that I held to a very high regard: Kamala Harris's values. As you might have known, Kamala Harris has been one to backtrack on several key issues and policies. Similar to Trump, she's been seen on several occasions reversing her stance on several key policies and issues. As you may know, I am not a fan of fake people. People who say one thing but do another. People who change who they are and what they stand for at any given moment in time to adhere to the dominant opinion. Those who aren't able to abide by a set of sanctified, concrete values, especially those who dwell in the realm of politics. And the type of person I just described doesn't deserve any reputable, dignified platform of any sort. So when Kamala Harris was asked why a great number of her policy positions had changed, I was quite eager to hear her response.
Get to Lindsey.
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking.
From what I can tell, she has a set of policies and she plans to enact them. But can the American people be sure, 100% sure, that she won't backtrack on her notions? Nope, not at all. Same with Trump. But the thing is, the one thing I do know is that it is and will always be up to the American people to choose who they want for president. You see, we are endemic to a nation that functions off the principles of democracy. In America, we have the right to make a choice that will impact the trajectory of our nation. So whether your preferred candidate becomes president or not, it is important that all Americans recall this mantra. We are Americans. We are Americans because we have values. We are Americans because you may not think the same way I think. We are Americans because we can learn to look past these differences and come to an understanding, aiding in the foundation of a better tomorrow. We are Americans because even in the peak of dissension and rivalry, we realize that we are one. A nation of peace, liberty, and justice for all. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I tried to cover all the topics that I could, but I really just chose the ones that stuck out to me. Guys, we are growing at an insane rate. It is unfathomable, palpable how fast we're growing. And I just want to thank you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe. Road to 1,000 subscribers will be a 1,000 subscriber special if we hit it before the end of the year. Here are the stats for who won, and here's Trump's response about whether there's going to be another debate.
No, we're looking at it, but you know, when you win, you don't really necessarily have to do it a second time. So we'll see. But I thought we had a great debate last night. Thank you very much.
What would need to change for you to agree to a second debate? Would you want different rules? Would you want a different format?
Well, you know, when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, "We want a rematch." So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know.
Hey guys, I just want to set the record straight. At the time you're watching this, Trump has formally disagreed to a second debate held on CNN with Kamala Harris. which is kind of peculiar because during his last debate with Hillary Clinton, it was held on October 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, and with Biden in 2020, it was held around the same time. So pretty contradicting, isn't it?
So I'll see you guys in the next video with the truth. The crude truth.